Well, are we better, worse, the same health wise?
Yeah, I think Quentin's going to be out. Um, he's got a hand injury. I don't think he'll be able to go. But Jamarian Gooch is back in, which is good. He was kind of nothing big. He was kind of had some back pains that he was kind of getting through, so he'll be back. So we're in a little bit better shape right now. So kind of looking at it, we'll see how Thursday goes. We may get a couple more guys back, which is what we're hoping. Cooper Fordham's been out with a concussion for I guess since the scrimmage. So we'll kind of reevaluate. He's doing well, so we'll see if he'll be back or not. But either way, I think we'll be able to put together at least a good half of a real scrimmage. And, if we need to, we'll do some competition stuff before that and just kind of have a little bit different format for point system. But we'll have a day find a way to make it competitive and make it good. I just want those guys to be able to play the game a little bit. And, that's what I'm hoping we'll be able to do.
So we talked about, short-term, long-term goals. You think you've attained the goals that you wanted to when the spring started?
Well, we kind of talk about this a lot. I don't think you're ever there. The competitive nature in you as a player, as a coach, kind of whatever in this thing, you've never made it exactly where you want to be. And I'm pleased with the spring that we've had. We've made a lot of progress in a lot of areas. Good and bad is sometimes you don't know, was it good on offense and bad on defense, or, you kind of don't know where you are, because it's against yourself a little bit. But, I'm pleased with the progress we've made. We've got guys that have come a long way, particularly in our defensive system, kind of getting this thing where we want it a little bit, and kind of the communication where it is, where you got a lot of guys communicating, meaning they understand what's going on. And you got some guys that are starting to play a lot faster and naturally. So, pleased with where we are, but certainly not satisfied by any means. We have a lot of work to do throughout the summer to get to fall camp, and definitely a lot of work through fall camp to get to where we want to be.
Have any other, we've talked about left tackle, obviously, have any other kind of interesting position battles kind of arisen from what y'all seen? Not necessarily anybody doing bad, but maybe somebody else doing better than what you anticipated going as once you get to August?
Well, you try to create competition in every position, really. George has done a really good job for us at left tackle. We actually slid him over there, and that's been really good. Moved Bryant to right, so that's been a good move for us. I talked a little bit about Mackie Malo, but Mackie's finally turned the corner for us. A guy that we've from the time we signed him, felt like he had some tools and some ability for us. Right now we're really excited about what he's doing. He's getting himself in position, to compete, to be in that top, 7 or 8 right there. And it's kind of swinging really a little bit, like from tackle to guard. He's doing some good stuff at both. So that's been really good for us. I think Cortland Flowers on defense, I kind of talked about him a little bit, but moving from safety to corner, it frees up some options for us. With Caleb Anderson hadn't been through spring, he had an off-season surgery on his wrist. It allowed Agu to get a bunch of reps there, but Cortland making that move really gives you a veteran player who's played a lot, physical presence at corner, and certainly a skill set that you can do some things with. So, he's playing a lot of boundary and nickel for us, the star position, but he can play the field too. We're trying to get away from strictly being field boundary. That presents some issues at times with teams that you play. So we're trying to get where we can just play left and right a little bit. Really with safeties, you like to be able to do the same thing, where they understand it, where it's not just, I play this, that way it gives you some flexibility and, skips a guy that's swung back and forth from free to bandit and back and forth, and does a good job with it. So, I don't know. There's a lot of surprises. I mean, Carmicah Glass, I think, has really stepped up at linebacker and really done a good job for us. He flashes every single day. We've talked about Terrence Williams being in that role. So, a lot of guys that I'm really excited about, them kind of stepping up into some of those roles. And naturally the guys that you need to play well, need to keep getting better, in some of those spots too. So, and I don't know if there's anything really of interest there that pops out, but, it's been a competitive spring, and we're rolling guys 1s and 2s and 2s and 3s, and you're trying to figure out the best fit and making them work for it every day.
Yeah, go ahead. Any update on Ben Woldrick?
Yeah, Ben's progressing along. I think it's probably a little slower, definitely slower than he wanted it to be. he's still been pretty limited. He's pretty ginger on there. He had a little bit of a setback that wasn't surgical or anything, but the nature of that injury, it's a Liz Frank is a tough deal to come back from, and it takes time. And for him, he's not very patient, which is why he's the player that he is. But it's slower than what he wants it to be. But he's out there, he's in there every day. He does everything that he can. He's doing some routes on air and some indie stuff with us, and naturally he's locked in and dialed in, doing a good job with that.
Is it too early to even address or know anything about any special teams changes as far as like kicker, punter, that kind of stuff?
Well, at punter, we're going to find a punter. We knew that we needed to bring one in this year, kind of where we're at. And Brock will still be able to compete for it, but it's not the same deal as it was last year, where with Thomas we knew Thomas was going to be the guy for us. Brock would be in a position to still compete. Logan Klotz has really done a good job punting the ball. He's done both in high school. So we got to get a guy in here to create a little more competition there. Kenny's been really solid as a field goal kicker. We've put him in a lot of situations throughout spring where it's, you're moving the ball and all of a sudden it's like, hey, field goal, so we're it's not scripted. It's as much of a pressure situation as you can create in practice. He's been great. Klotz has been really good. And Tony Sterner really has hit him well too. So, I don't anticipate any changes there at kicker. But at punter, we need to bring somebody in, and we need to get some quality depth there where we can go out and we can go compete at a high level there. Because right now we're not where we need to be there. So, and we knew that. We've budgeted for that, I guess I'd say. So, you like that, huh?
So is having some sort of a game time, real game kind of scenario Saturday more about Samori than just about anybody? I mean, is he the one that y'all really need to see or benefit from that, or what about?
He and Lunch both. I mean, they need to. I mean, Lunch hasn't played in a game, since he was a senior in high school. Really, he played in the Monroe game, but that was 4-minute offense to kind of finish the game. For Samori, that's really. For both of them, we need to get the coaches off the field out of the way, and they got to go run the show. And at times, both of them have done a really good job. So 2 Saturdays ago, I was not pleased at all, right? When we finished the scrimmage, I was not happy with the quarterback play with the second and third group. This Saturday was much better with both of them. They both, we create in competition between them, and they're competing, and they did a much better job in the last week and have continued that this week. So, yeah, I mean, those guys need to go play, and we're going to put them in. I'm going to, I haven't told them this yet, but they're going to be live in the scrimmage, and they're going to rotate, and they're going to roll, and they're going to run one of the teams, and they're going to go. Chandler will not be at all. He's had a great spring, and we're going to keep him healthy going into the off season. But those 2 guys, yes, they need to go operate. And to me, I don't know. It's not a game where your scoreboard's really on and it counts, but it's the closest thing that you can do. That's why I see the value in scrimmages. It's not to see who can tackle. We know who can tackle the way we practice. That's not hard for us to figure out. We know that. But there is an element of this is real when you go to a scrimmage and everybody's off the field and it's 11 on 11 and it's those guys between the white lines and no one can help you. So, yeah, I do. I think it's a big day for the quarterbacks to let them go cut loose and go see who can do it. We feel really good about Chandler. Ben, whenever he gets back, we know Ben has played well for us. So that's where we got to continue to evaluate, and those guys have to continue to play better as it goes, naturally, as they should.